So now I would like to talk to you about planning an episode. So a podcast is the name of what you create, and then you have your individual episodes. And if you want, you can make them into series or seasons. So at the moment we are in season 1. Now, for planning your episode, it is very much how you would plan a workshop or a lesson that you are going to teach. So we use Google Docs and we have our Fluff template on there, which we use for each episode. And that way we can both work on it at the same time. And the way that we break down our episode is that we have the title, and then we have the topic hook. So that's just like a quick intro about why we are talking about this subject and why you as a listener should tune in. And then we have what are you drinking? Because at the start of each of our podcast episodes, we have a different drink. It is mostly an alcoholic drink, but sometimes we have soft drinks. And so that is normally a cocktail that I've prepared as I trained in mixology. And it's thematic to the episode. So we share with our listeners about that drink. And then we go into anecdotes. So our personal stories that are related to the topic that we're talking about. And these are the bits that our listeners really enjoy. They're often quite funny. Sometimes they're a little bit more serious, but they're our personal things which people can hopefully relate to or learn through. And we're very honest in that, very honest. We've spoken about body functions, we've spoken about heartbreak, we've spoken about loss, and we've spoken about our fond memories. And then we go into our research. So the research that we have done around the topic, which is new for us. So as we said, we want to learn ourselves. So we pick really cool research, shocking, surprising, and then we deliver that information. We also really want to be inclusive in our podcast and intersectional. So this is the place where we can look at the topic from another perspective. And then we go into interviews or examples. So the interview might be where we are speaking to somebody who is a specialist in this area or has created work within this area. So for example, on our episode on dance, we interviewed 2 trans performers who created a whole amazing show using the medium of dance. And our episode on COVID-19, we interviewed an A&E nurse. And those interviews can give a real true insight into the topic that we are talking about. And then we have our conclusion, where we will summarize our final thoughts, ask listeners to get in touch with their thoughts, and we will bookmark each of our episodes with our intro and our outro, which is pre-recorded. So our introduction, hello podcast listeners, and our outro is don't forget to like, subscribe. And just to say, you might hear Chitty Cat meowing in the background. She's going out the room now. And the reason why we structure it like that is because it allows for a well-structured and scaffolded conversation when we are recording. And also then the podcast listeners know what is coming. And we ourselves as podcast listeners to other podcasts, we know the moments that are coming in an episode and we quite like it, such as Ghost of a Podcast, which is an astrology one that we both love. We know we have the moment where the listeners write in and they get their horoscope. And for example, on The Guilty Feminist, we know there's the stand-up moment. So it's about creating those moments which your audience really like. I secretly listen to Gemma Collins' podcast. It's my guilty pleasure. And I love her agony aunt moment where she supports listeners' problems that they write in with. So for your task, we would like you to listen to 3 moments on our episode on COVID-19. And we would like you to listen to, first of all, one of our anecdotes, which begins at 9 minutes, 39 seconds. And please listen till 14 minutes, 28 seconds. Then we would like you to listen to our personal top tips for things to do during COVID-19 quarantine. and that comes in at 36 minutes 59 seconds, and we would like you to listen to that till 44 minutes 08 seconds. And then finally, please listen to our interview with the A&E nurse called Lara, and that happens at 44 minutes 08 seconds, and please listen to that till the end at 1 hour 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So please pause the video now and listen to those 3 moments and come back after. Thank you. So thank you for listening to those 3 moments where we shared an anecdote, some top tips, and an interview with an A&E nurse relating to COVID-19. So your task is to come from the perspective of yourselves being a student during COVID-19. We would like you to come up with your own anecdote, top tip or top tips, a few of them, and then think of who you might want to interview at this time. And this is in relation to the subject of being a student during COVID-19. So please think about and note down your anecdote, so the story you would like to tell of your personal time being a student during COVID-19, your top tip or few top tips, and then somebody who you'd like to interview and why, and what is it that you really want to talk to them about. The idea with your interview is to get information that other people otherwise won't know. And please go forth and do your task and pause the video. Thank you.